Hi, I'm Michael Hernandez, and if you are out there walking trails in natural parks and you're picking up your dog's poop and putting it in a bag and tying up the bag and throwing the bag on the ground, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're an embarrassment. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the books that I'm talking about, or maybe you just like the silky smooth sound of my voice, then follow me. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Parler, and I'm on Twitter. And more importantly, share the videos, talk about them, reach out in the comment section, let me know if there's any books you want me to read, and I'll be happy to give you a shout out and maybe even cover the book on my show. So today we're going to be taking a look at a interesting book. It was actually suggested to me by the author. He reached out. This is his first time writing a book, his first book. So it's pretty exciting for him. It's exciting for me to review his first book. And I found it as a pretty interesting read. Today we're going to take a look at the book Camsterdam by Simon Fidler. So this is an autobiographical work of Fidler's curious journey across Europe and his entanglements with government agencies and an array of very colorful individuals. All right, so let's look at the aesthetics. Look, it's going to be a little hard here because for the first time on the show, I have to use my iPad for this. So for the aesthetics, you can see the cover. It does have kind of a cryptic design. It's got the simple silhouette, blowing smoke in the dark. It has kind of a creepy imagery. I kind of like the design there. The text is simple and to the point. The coloration here with kind of the orange and the blue, it's a little bit distracting, but honestly, it probably does pop a little bit more with those color ribbons. Just me, I'm more of a fan of very boring covers. More of the Thomas Sowell's type, where it's just plain black or plain white, plain red. But nonetheless, it does pop. Nothing too much to complain about as far as the cover and the aesthetics of it, so a solid 8 out of 10. Now let's look at the readability. It is very conversational, it's very candid, it's much like a memoir or a journal that you might pick up on someone's nightstand, their private writings. It's very simple, it doesn't lose you with any unnecessary jargon. One catch in the read is that it does jump around quite a bit. It can be a little bit jittery on the eyes as you're trying to go through this story, go from character to character, person to person. He has a vast network of what he calls perpetrators, and for me, when there's a lot more people involved in the story or the occurrence, whatever it is, it gets harder for me to follow. I have more of a one-track mind, so it does lose me a little bit in the weeds there, but I attribute that more to his stream of consciousness style. So the text itself is very clear. I'll show you here on the iPad there. Text is very clear. Paragraph breaks, no big walls of text. That's another way to lose me, is if there's big walls of text. Luckily in this, there's nothing like that. So that's a plus. So as far as the readability goes, still rate it pretty strong there at a 7 out of 10. Now, as far as the content, the book follows the life of Simon Fidler, who from a young age was always a fan of cinema and computers and technology. His love for movies that had protagonists of a more chaotic nature, such as the movie Fight Club and Boiler Room, it gave him a bit of an unruly influence as a young man, which got him a little bit in trouble in school. But it also turned his interests towards financing and the application of technology and financing, and it actually kind of helped him with this developing career in sales in the financial district and in gambling lines of work, and he used that throughout his life. The book really takes off when he tells a joke. He's hanging out with some friends of his, acquaintances of his, and there's a prime minister election coming up, and he makes an offhanded joke about David Cameron winning the prime minister election, and the newspaper headline having the headline of Camsterdam. And that was really the punchline of his joke. And from his point of view, it was at that moment that his life started really taking a crazy spin. From missing luggage and drunken flatmates to phoned-in bomb threats and office politics, you see Fidler take characters and situations from movies like Fight Club and Boiler Room, and then he begins to merge them with his own real-life experiences. And it is a very wild read. He has lived a pretty crazy life. And what I got out of the book really is, it makes me wonder where movies influence reality, at least in our own minds, but also how much of reality is reflected by movies. So he really goes back to that well of the movie Fight Club, of the movie Boiler Room, and then you see those comparisons to his own experience, and it really makes you wonder how much of what we see in our lives is influenced by movies, but also how much of movies themselves are reflections of reality. Nonetheless, I found it an interesting read. As far as the content goes, I'll rate it a relatively strong 6 out of 10. So if you are interested in the story, if it sounds like something you want to read, it's not too long of a read. It's about, I'd say, give or take 170 pages. And you won't be able to find it at your local bookstore. It's not releasing out in bookstores right now. You'll have to go through Amazon to find it. It is available on paperback. I believe it's around $13 or $14 on paperback. And it's also available on your Kindle. You can order it through Amazon to install on your Kindle. So if that is something you're interested in reading, you can go on down to Amazon and find it there. I'd like to give a brief shout out and thanks to Simon Fidler for giving me an opportunity to read your book. It's definitely been an interesting experience giving it a read. It's been fun giving it a review. I really do appreciate good books being referred my way, and if there's ever a book anyone wants me to read, feel free to reach out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and go read something.